What if you've discovered that the life you've always dreamed of isn't as far away as it seems? What if you realized that within you lies a version of yourself so bold, so focused, and so unstoppable that it could shatter every excuse, every fear, and every limitation you've ever accepted as truth? Most people live day after day repeating patterns that keep them stuck, wishing for more, but doing the same things that guarantee nothing changes. Deep down, there's a quiet voice reminding you that you were made for more. You feel it every time you watch someone succeed and think, why not me? You sense it when you're alone with your thoughts, imagining what your life could be if you finally decided to go all in. The truth is, you don't need to be superhuman to break free from the ordinary. You need to wake up the power that has been sleeping inside you all along. Every person you admire, every story of transformation that lights a spark in your heart started with one decision: to stop being a prisoner of old habits and to claim responsibility for what happens next. No more waiting for motivation to magically appear. No more blaming the past or fearing the future. It's time to learn what the most driven people do differently and how they train their minds to create results when most would give up. This is about stepping beyond your comfort zone, rewriting the narrative that says you can't, and finally proving to yourself that your potential is greater than any obstacle. If you've ever wondered when things will change, this is the answer. They change the moment you decide to change. And the guide you're about to discover is the spark you've been searching for. Deep inside every human being is a spark of possibility, a raw potential waiting to be shaped into something extraordinary. We see glimpses of it when we dare to dream big, when we imagine a life where our passions become reality and our fears no longer dictate our actions. Yet for most people, that spark stays hidden under layers of routine, doubt, and self-imposed limitations. We convince ourselves that now is not the right time, that we need more resources, more knowledge, or someone's approval to chase what we truly want. So we settle for a version of life that feels safe but unfulfilling. What if there were a way to break that pattern for good? What if, instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you could learn how to create it? The truth is, unlocking your potential is not reserved for the few who seem naturally confident or lucky. It is a skill, a mindset, and a daily commitment that anyone can practice. Throughout history, those who have achieved greatness have not been free of challenges. They have simply learned how to master themselves first before trying to master the world around them. Real change starts by questioning the beliefs that have silently shaped your choices for years. It requires looking honestly at your habits, your routines, and the standards you have accepted for yourself. You begin to see that the only real limits that exist are the ones you have agreed to live by. Once you understand this, you realize that your potential does not expand by chance, but by design. You must design your days, your thoughts, and your actions to align with the life you want. This guide is an invitation to step beyond inspiration and move into transformation. It gathers proven ideas and powerful insights that show you how to command your mind, shift your emotional state in an instant, and replace fear with action. It is about taking radical responsibility for where you are and becoming intentional about where you want to go. When you change the way you see yourself and your circumstances, your energy shifts, your confidence grows, and doors that once seemed closed begin to open. Every page ahead is a step toward clarity, courage, and unstoppable momentum. This is not about perfection, but progress. It is about choosing again and again to rise each time you fall and to stand guard at the gate of your mind so that your old doubts do not control your new reality. Your greatest self is not found in someday. It is created today, in the simple decision to unlock the potential that has always been yours. Many people move through life feeling like there is an invisible force holding them back, yet they can't quite name what it is. They wake up each morning with the best intentions to change, to grow, to do things differently, but by the end of the day, they find themselves stuck in the same cycle. They want to be healthier, wealthier, more fulfilled, yet they repeat habits that contradict those desires. The problem isn't that people lack intelligence, ambition, or good ideas. It's that they wrestle with deeply ingrained patterns that silently shape their behavior, day after day. These patterns are formed by old beliefs, painful past experiences, and a fear of stepping into the unknown. At the root of this challenge is the mind's natural tendency to resist change. The brain is wired to favor familiarity over the unfamiliar, even if the familiar is uncomfortable or limiting. So even when people feel the urge to break free, their internal dialogue whispers all the reasons why they shouldn't risk it. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? This quiet chorus of doubt is often louder than the voice calling them to grow. Another part of the problem is that society celebrates comfort. The world constantly offers distractions, endless scrolling, quick entertainment, easy pleasures that numb us instead of strengthen us. People become experts at procrastination and excuses, convincing themselves that tomorrow will be the day they finally take action. But tomorrow never comes because habits have more power than intentions. Many also underestimate the power of their environment. They surround themselves with people who reinforce their limitations rather than challenge them to rise higher. They accept the standards of friends, family, or coworkers, unaware that these influences are shaping their potential. Without realizing it, they adopt other people's fears and settle for a life that feels safe but suffocates their dreams. The cost of staying stuck is enormous. Opportunities pass by, relationships lose depth, talents remain unused. Worst of all, a deep sense of regret grows over time, whispering, "You could have been so much more." This pain is subtle but constant, eating away at confidence and creating a life where people watch from the sidelines as others live boldly. To break this cycle requires more than motivation. It demands a new way of thinking and practical tools to override the old programming. It requires courage to face discomfort, discipline to form new habits, and a commitment to protect one's mind from the noise that keeps them small. Recognizing this challenge is the first step to overcoming it and stepping into a life of true potential. But breaking free from the invisible chains that hold so many people back starts with a simple but powerful realization. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. Once this becomes clear, the door opens to real change. The mind can be trained and habits can be replaced. But this requires conscious effort and practical strategies. It begins with awareness, paying close attention to the daily patterns that either build you up or break you down. Many people underestimate how much their mood, productivity, and decisions are shaped by what they focus on each day. One way to take control is to master your state. How you feel in any moment is influenced by your body, your focus, and your inner dialogue. By adjusting these, you can shift from doubt to determination in minutes. Equally important is recognizing and rewriting the stories you tell yourself. For years, someone might have repeated phrases like, "I'm not good at this," or "I always fail." These self-statements become mental commands that shape behavior. To replace them, new empowering statements must be created and reinforced daily until they become second nature. Positive affirmations alone are not enough. Belief must be backed by action. Small, consistent steps build confidence faster than any pep talk. Building an empowering routine is the next step. Successful people don't rely on willpower alone. They design daily habits that keep them aligned with their goals. This could mean starting the day with exercise to energize the body, reading to feed the mind, or practicing gratitude to focus on what's working rather than what's lacking. Over time, these habits build resilience and mental toughness, making it easier to handle setbacks without losing momentum. Another key is to protect your environment. It's nearly impossible to elevate your life if you're surrounded by negativity and discouragement. Seek out people who inspire you, who are living proof that change is possible. Books, podcasts, and communities focused on growth can act as powerful allies when the world tries to pull you back to old ways. Finally, take action before you feel ready. Waiting for perfect conditions is the surest way to remain stuck. Progress is born from imperfect action, making mistakes, learning quickly, and adjusting along the way. By leaning into discomfort, you discover strengths you never knew you had. Each risk taken, each challenge faced builds the unshakable belief that you are capable of far more than you once imagined. This is how real transformation takes root, through daily intentional choices that turn potential into power. There comes a moment in every journey of growth when all the lessons, habits, and mindset shifts collide into a single defining experience. It is rarely dramatic on the outside, but deeply transformative within. It often happens quietly during an ordinary day when you catch yourself reacting differently than you would have in the past. Maybe you handle a stressful situation with calm instead of panic. Maybe you stand up for your dream in a conversation where you would have stayed silent before. Or maybe you finally take that step you have been postponing for years, even if your hands tremble while doing it. This moment is powerful because it proves that change is real. It shows you that you are no longer the same person who used to talk about goals but never chased them. It is the moment when the old voice of doubt tries to speak, but a stronger, clearer voice answers back with certainty. You start to trust yourself in ways you never did before. Fear loses its grip because you faced it and survived. Excuses shrink because action has replaced hesitation. This breakthrough often brings a sense of peace mixed with a surge of energy. You realize you do not need permission to pursue what matters most to you. You stop waiting for signs and start creating them. The stories you told yourself about being too late, too old, too inexperienced begin to dissolve. Instead, a new narrative forms. You are capable, resourceful, and resilient. From this point forward, setbacks don't feel like dead ends. They become detours, guiding you to better paths. Criticism doesn't sting the same way because your self-worth is no longer tied to others' opinions. Doubts still come, but they no longer command your choices. What makes this moment so life-altering is that it shifts your identity. You move from someone hoping for change to someone who embodies it. You carry yourself differently, speak with more conviction, and attract opportunities that match your new standard. People around you notice the difference, and sometimes they don't understand it, but that doesn't matter because your sense of certainty comes from within, not from their validation. This is the turning point many dream about, but few reach. Not because it's impossible, but because it demands the courage to face oneself honestly and the discipline to stay the course when it would be easier to quit. When you experience this shift, you know deep in your bones that you will never again be satisfied with living below your potential. From here, you rise and life will never look the same. Unlocking the greatness within is not a single moment of motivation, but a lifelong commitment to becoming the version of yourself you know you can be. Many start this journey thinking they need to transform overnight, but real lasting change is built step by step, choice by choice, day by day. Looking back, you see that every challenge faced, every fear confronted, and every small win stacked on another has brought you to a place of new possibilities. What once seemed impossible now feels like just another goal within reach. You learn that setbacks do not define your limits, they test your resolve. Failure is no longer something to avoid at all costs, but something to learn from quickly and use as fuel to move forward with more wisdom. The old tendency to blame circumstances or other people fades as you accept complete responsibility for how you respond to life. This sense of ownership becomes your superpower, allowing you to stay focused on what you can control and release what you cannot. One of the greatest revelations along this journey is understanding the power of consistency over intensity. Grand gestures are impressive, but daily habits are what build a foundation strong enough to hold your biggest dreams. You develop rituals that energize your body, sharpen your mind, and nourish your spirit. You prioritize your inner circle, spending more time with those who push you to grow and less with those who pull you backward. This path also teaches you the value of celebrating progress instead of waiting for perfection. Each step forward, no matter how small, deserves recognition. Gratitude becomes a habit, and with it, comes a calm confidence that you are exactly where you need to be, working toward where you want to go. Perhaps the most powerful truth is that you realize you are never truly finished. Growth has no final destination. There's always another level to reach, another fear to conquer, another dream to bring to life. This does not create stress, but rather fuels a sense of purpose that makes every day meaningful. In the end, living up to your potential is not about comparing yourself to others, but measuring how far you have come and how much more you are willing to become. You are the author of your story, the architect of your future. The lessons you have gathered are now tools you can use anytime you feel stuck or lost. Keep them close, act on them daily, and watch how they continue to shape a life that feels authentic, powerful, and deeply fulfilling. This is the moment to make a promise to yourself that you will not let these ideas gather dust in your mind. Inspiration alone changes nothing unless it is converted into deliberate action. Take a deep breath and commit right now to doing one thing differently today, something small but meaningful that moves you closer to your vision. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier to focus on your goals. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's saying yes to an opportunity you've been too afraid to accept. Write down what you will do and by when you will do it. Be specific because clarity creates momentum. Then tell someone you trust about your commitment. Accountability transforms intentions into reality. When doubt shows up, and it will, remind yourself that progress matters more than perfection. Some days you will feel strong and unstoppable. Other days you may slip back into old patterns. That's normal. What counts is that you stand back up each time and keep moving forward. Surround yourself with reminders of what you're capable of. Place notes on your mirror, set phone alarms with powerful statements, read books and listen to voices that fuel your growth. Create an environment that supports your highest self, not your weakest moments. If you truly want to multiply your results, don't try to do it all alone. Find people who are also committed to bettering themselves. Join groups, attend events, or simply connect with friends who lift you higher instead of pulling you back. Growth loves company, and the right community makes even the hardest challenges feel lighter. Above all, choose to show up for yourself every single day. No excuses, no waiting for the stars to align. The life you desire is built one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one courageous action at a time. Look at your life and ask yourself honestly, what would my days look like if I stopped holding back? Then go create that reality piece by piece. Your future self is counting on you to take this step. Start now while the fire is still burning. Keep it alive by feeding it with daily action. You have what it takes. Now prove it to yourself and to the world.